Innovative content, global audience.
Beautiful people, yes, it's another rainy morning here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. This is Wake Up Nigeria, and we're reaching you from our SROTV studio. My name is Princess KESSY. As usual, I have with me on the show today
MARYVAL Easy.
How was your night, Mary?
My night was good.
You look like a bride.
Thank you.
It's a cold morning. The rain,
Honestly,
the rain. Like, I came out, I didn't know it was raining.
Something that soaked me yesterday, like soaked on my body when I was going home. That wasn't funny.
No, it rained last night in the evening on
Yeah,
my way
I was
from
on
the
my way going
office,
home then.
and then it stopped. But I didn't know it was still raining up to this morning.
Okay.
At least I would have wore cardigan. So I just came out. I saw everywhere, like, wow. Anyway, we'll see that people are beginning to come out gradually. Vehicular movements are returning, not close to normal, but at least people are now coming out. Apparently, people are getting used to the fact that this is something we'll have to deal with.
That's
of
Nigeria.
Course, if you can't beat them,
you join
them. And there's this industrial court action, court injection or stopping labor from the protests. We're going to see how that goes between the organized labor, of course, federal government and the courts. But that injunction was given yesterday evening, stopping them from the nationwide shutdown. And as I speak, labor is currently kicking. We don't see how that will unfold, but we see how that go. And we see also that TUC is demanding for 200 pay minimum wage. How will all this work? That is the questions we are asking at this point. Well, we'll see how that goes, but we just really do hope that all this will be a thing of the past really
Definitely.
soon, because the transportation hike alone is too much.
We cannot get used to this.
I don't know why the industrial courts gave that injunction, but for me, I just feel like there was no need for that. Sometimes you allow people pour out their grievances, you allow people say what is in their mind, and that's the only way. Like, I had the head of information on the show yesterday that said they are the mouthpiece of the workers. So stopping them automatically means you're shutting them up.
Yeah.
And you don't want people to react, and then they are dying in pain.
Yeah, so
I feel like, I don't know, but we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how that go. Like, I'm still going to bring him on the show again to see how they are reacting to these new developments. And just before we kickstart with the newspaper reviews, we're going to go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with the reviews of some of the news. Of course, very catchy headlines coming from our national dailies. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Prince, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wileke, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jetplay, and many more. Dates: 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue: Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Nigeria Film Corporation, and lots more. Don't be
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-5.
Yes, hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. We're going to kickstart with our reviews this morning, and we have a lot of interesting, trending, topical issues coming from the national dailies this morning, and I'm going to kickstart with this Nigeria. Now, these are some of the stories we have. The big headline here says TUC demands a 200,000 minimum wage for workers. And the rider says, as organized labor shoves tomorrow's strike, federal government secures export order to stop nationwide industrial action. And all the stories are on page 4 of this Nigerian newspaper as well. We'll have a story here that says court fines Kayemo 10 million naira over frivolous suit against Atiku. Now that story is on page 18 of this Nigeria paper this morning. We also have a story here that says transportation hike. Kwara reduces work days to 3. That story is on page 7 of this Nigerian newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 1.67 billion unremitted oil revenue. House committee summons NEPC MD on page 17 of this Nigerian newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says sorry, I beg your pardon. There's a story here that says Tinubu meets Wike Umahi at Babio behind closed doors, and that story is on page 5 of this Nigerian paper. As well, we'll have a story here that says insecurity. Tinubu warns security agencies against hoarding information. Says counter-terrorism not backed by intelligence if not backed by intelligence is of no use. Now, these stories on page 6 and 5 of the paper. These are all the stories we have coming from this Nigerian this morning. And so I'm really happy about the story here that says transportation hike. Kwara reduces work days to 3. And
honestly, it shows that they are so considerate about their workers.
Concerned about the people.
Yeah. Because
this is really, really hard. And then we saw a story here. TUC demands 200,000 minimum wage for workers. Is that even feasible?
This is they're not doing their things differently. I don't even understand.
Is that even? I don't think the government will be able to pay that.
They know it will not be possible now.
Organized labor shows tomorrow's strike. Wow, I don't see how that will go, but I think the organized labor will not find this funny at all, because they have been gearing up, they have been warming up for this strike tomorrow. And not just some hours to that strike, we've seen that the court gave the order stopping the nationwide industrial action. And now, how do we now, what do we make of this? I just feel like maybe the government, the courts, I feel people have right to protest. Yeah. That is the only way they put out their grievances. Yeah. And you trying to stop the court order means that you want to shut them out totally, which I think it is not even necessary. And there's a story here. Tinubu meets Wike Umahi Babu behind closed door. I want to see more of that. I don't know how our own man Wike is now meeting with the president behind closed door. I bet you something is cooking. We can't wait to see. We can't wait. And I like this story as well from the president that says insecurity. Tinubu warns security agencies against hoarding information. Says counter-terrorism not backed by intelligence is of no use. So I just feel like he should put more effort, like I will always say on the show,
regarding the security issues.
On security issues. That would really help us as the people. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
Okay, coming from the national dailies, the first news, the big headline here says subsidy removal. Finally, NLC, TUC suspend planned strike. Okay, another story here says after court restrained both union affiliates from Wednesday industry action, leaders meeting with federal government team at Aso Villa. Okay, another headline here says NNPCL pegs ex depot price at 479 naira per litre. Okay, fuel subsidy big fraud says hype man. House invites MFLA over 32.5 billion naira payment without records. Family cries out over illegal sale of mysteriously missing businessman's property. Accuses estranged wife, lawyer, police of conspiracy. We never endorsed Kalu for Senate President, ACF. House invites MFLA over 32.5 billion naira payments without records. Subsidy crisis. Increase workers' minimum wage to 200,000. TUC tells federal government. 109 million naira fraud. Court clears ex-HOS Oran Saye. Another headline here says, talks flux PDP, Guba aspirants, others outside Ogun Tribunal venue. I think that's all the headline on First News today.
Talks flog. Are you serious? When
PDP,
have we
aspirants.
gotten to a stage where talks now
flog
people out of tribunal venue?
Yes,
this is the country we live in today. Shameful, if you ask me.
Yes.
And then I saw a story here as well that says where subsidy big fraud says hype man. Anyway, that is why we are here right now. Mixed feelings.
Some people are positive about it, some people are negative about it. Everybody with their own perception about the whole stuff.
And
there's one headline that says family cries over illegal sale of mysteriously missing businessman property, accuses estranged wife, lawyer, police of conspiracy. A lot is really happening in this country, honestly. But sometimes I ask, you selling property? Okay, it depends. I believe that they have the full papers of such property for selling it. But you cannot just come out and sell somebody's property when you don't have evidence of it. You understand? Because you that is buying it, where is the evidence? Where is the documents of that property? I believe they have it. That is why they can sell it. So
anyway,
that's just it.
There's a story here as well that says 109 million fraud court clears ex-HOS Aaron Saye. These are all the stories we have. And again, this story, NNPCL pegs ex-depot price at 497 naira 50 kobo per litre. I don't know how that will work, but like I said earlier, you see this subsidy thing, and
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that even though we can't say they should reduce it totally to the way it was. They should just try and reduce it to an extent. For like this 500 or something, it's not working.
I'm not even seeing any difference.
Yes, and we'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have. That will be the Punch newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have coming from the Punch this morning. The big headline here says, subsidy, NLC kicks as court stops strike, police warn hoodlums. And the rider says, Labour fought interim order, bank aviation workers join planned strike. And there's another headline here that says, IG wants police commissioners to prevent breakdown of law and order. Now, all these stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, presidential election, Atiku witnesses alleged pool fraud. That story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says foreign trade deadlines by 2.6 trillion over FS shortage. This is coming from the NBS, and that story is on page 32 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Nigerian Air reps grieve FG officials today, and that story is on page 32 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 1 billion naira petrol, other smuggled goods seized in May, customs. That story is on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Tinubu will turn economy around. This is coming from Jimoh Ibrahim, and that story it's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Unilag undergraduate shot dead over stolen phone. Sad. That story is on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says FG records 930 billion naira 2 months fiscal deficit, and that story is on page 34, and it's coming from the CBN this morning. Now these are all the stories we have coming from the Punch this morning. I saw a story here that says NSC fourth interim order. Now banks, if I thought that protest anyway, court already stopped the that move. Otherwise, we would have seen the likes of the bank,
they actually wanted to join
aviation, a whole lot of sectors already warming up, because of course this is something that has to do with everybody, like we always say, not just one person. And then we also saw a story here that says Unilag undergraduate shot dead over stolen phone. This is sad.
Can you imagine?
This is sad. It's really sad.
It's really sad because at the end of the day, what do you even want to use the money for? They will steal the phone and sell it, and the money will never be enough in this kind of economy we are. Man, God will help us.
And then as well, there's a story here coming from Jimoh Ibrahim that says Tinubu will turn the economy around.
Hope so. And we are being positive about it.
We're really hopeful. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
Coming from the Guardian newspaper, the big headline here says, petrol subsidy removal. Labour underrated by courts. Other TUC demand 200,000 minimum wage. You can find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And yeah, another headline here says, Nigeria imports squeezed by cash scarcity, fall by 25.8% year on year. You can find that story on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Empty streets, short businesses, greet Mba, sit at home, ban in Enugu. You can find that story on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. How proposed NLC strike may affect presidential election petition. That story is found on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Johesu suspend strike for 21 days after parley with Tinubu. You can find that story on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Universities and fledgling e-libraries. You can find that story on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. 1 year after attack, Owo Catholic Church remembers victims. You can find that story on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. IMF task Nigeria on revenue generation, debt management. You can find that story on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. I think that's all the story making wave on Guardian newspaper today.
Quite a lot. I saw a story here that says Joesu suspend strike for 21 days after parley with Tinubu. How proposed NSC strike may affect presidential election petition. 1 year after attack, Owo Catholic Church remembers victims. May their souls continue to rest in peace. That was a very horrible sight way back then. I couldn't even see some of the pictures because I didn't have the heart to. And the empty streets, short businesses greet Umban sit at home ban in Enugu. I don't know what's going on in this country, but we do hope, like I continue to say, that the incoming of this administration
should just bring a better Nigeria for us.
Yes. Anyway, yes, we'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have. and this is the Blueprint newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have coming from the Blueprint. The main headline here says, for a subsidy crisis, TUC goes for the jugular, demands 200,000 minimum wage. And the rider says 6 improved living standard, 10 naira per liter intervention fund. And we another rider says courts restrain labor from Wednesday strike. NLC resume talk with FG. Kwara OK's 3 days work for workers. And that's these stories on page 5 and 14 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Johnson suspends strike for 3 weeks after meeting Tinubu. That story is on page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says court discharges acquits ex-HOS Aronsai over 190 million fraud. That story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says UBA leads as bank rank in 307.472 billion from e-businesses. That story is on page 23 of the Punch of the the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says thugs invade Ogu election tribunal, flog opposition, and that story is on page 13 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says OPEC lowers Nigerians 2024 production quota to 1.33 mbpd, and that story is on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. There's a story here as well that says 10th NAS leadership. Yari takes case to Buhari in Zwara. That is quite funny. And then we have the rider that says ex-Zamfara governor obtained order restraining EFCC ICP6 detention. Akpabio, Wike, Umahi in closed door meeting with Tinubu. I can't wait to see the outcome of that meeting. Our old man Wike, it's quite funny coming from the PDP now.
Yes,
he's the one
he's becoming so close to the president.
We see how that go, and I don't understand why these people. Yari takes a tense NAS leadership
to do.
Yari takes case to Buhari in Douala. People should allow him to rest. He just left. He needs a lot.
I wonder what he actually wants Buhari to do at this
Funny
point.
enough, the man has been through a lot, so allow him
to
rest out of your power struggle, power torso, and let him be. He needs to rest.
That's actually funny.
Yes, I was just smiling like, these people, are you serious? You live in Abuja all the way. When did this man? He just left last week, and you're already taking your wahala to meet the man.
To do what exactly?
Anyways, viewers, this is Wake Up Nigeria. We're still on the newspaper review. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we continue with the reviews. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Praise, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wiliki, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jetplay, and many more. Dates, 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue, Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Nigeria Film Corporation, and lots more. Don't be told.
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1.
Hello, viewers. You're welcome back from that quick break. This is Wake Up Nigeria, and we're still on the newspaper reviews. We'll continue with the next newspaper we have.
Coming from the Daily Trust newspaper, the big headline here says, Labour suspends strike. Okay. And the rider here says, TUC demands 200,000 minimum wage. Another rider here says, FG Union open room for more negotiations. Industrial action threats to peace, says IGP. Kwara reduces workdays to 3. Can find the stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And here another headline here says, traders count losses. Looting sprayed as Kano government continues demolition. Can find that story on page 35 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Amidst subsidy removal, jet fuel, cooking gas prices crash. Can find that story on page 28 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Wow. Okay, court stops EFCC, ICPC, DSS from detaining ex-governor Yari. Can find that story on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Okay, I think that's all the story making way on Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Wow. I saw a story here that says traders can't
They're counting their losses.
yes, looting
It's not
spread
funny.
as Kano government continue demolition. Now that was what happened yesterday here. That is something I'm going to talk about later, where we have at TUC here in Abuja, just close to us here. The place was tear gassed, and I was asking why exactly would they do that broad daylight. And then I got the information that they demolished the place. A lot of people have not been able to take all their properties,
Okay,
and
from
then
the
they had hoodlums coming to cut away. So police had to start, since they can't keep chasing them, they had to tear gas the place so everybody runs away, to give the people room and time to come and carry their
stores.
leftover
Yeah,
properties.
that's good. I don't know.
And this story here, amidst that subsidy
Subsidy
removal,
removal.
jet fuel, cooking gas prices crash.
Like,
Wow.
I was so speechless when I read it. I didn't even know what to say again. It will just affect everywhere. Everywhere.
Crash. That means that the price actually gone down, and it's good
That
one.
is for the positive now. For the
It's a
good.
good one. And then we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Nigerian Tribune. Now these are some of the stories coming from some paper. The main headline here says, NLC TUC suspend strike as tentative deal reached with FG. And the riders say to meet June 19 to agree on implementation framework. Now that story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says 10th NAS court stops EFCC, ICPC, DSS from detaining ex-governor Yari. That story is on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 2023 poll court fines Keyamo 10 million naira for filing frivolous suits against Atiku. That story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says Tinubu will develop Nigerian, says Jamal Ibrahim. That story is on page 15 as well of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says alleged 190 million fraud, court discharges, acquits HOS Arusaye on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says NAS presiding officers, North Central, insist on speaker slots. Says SGF was personal compensation for Akume. That story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune as well. We'll have a story here that says Wike Babio Umahi meets with Tinubu. That story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says bandits kill 2 farmers, adopt 30 others in Kaduna. That story is on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says subsidy remover. Kwara government reduces work days to 3 for civil servants. That story, it's on page 15. And Oyo Constitution Salary Review Committee, and all these stories on page 3 and 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says drama as talk, storm Ogun, governor election petition tribunal on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says PEPC, Atiku, PDP call additional 4 witnesses, tender more evidence. Obi LP tender election results in 8 more states. All these stories on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
A lot. Honestly, I don't know. Every day when we come here to talk about the newspaper review, you always hear about one killing or the other. Sometimes I wonder, is there any day will come out there for the newspaper review that will not happen to come across killing? Like this one now that say bandits kill 2 farmers, abduct 30 others in Kaduna. Every day.
And that is why I'm saying
This is
that
what we keep on
I
saying.
think the president at this point, one would have thought that coming in, the first thing he would do is to
Anything keeps on
tackle
happening.
the insecurity head on. We really do hope that he's going to use the same energy he's using for fuel subsidy, for other things, for the insecurity, because this is the life of the people we're talking about.
Yeah.
I really do feel for people there over the states, talking about Kaduna, Niger, Benue, all the other states, what they go through. And kudos to the or kudos to Oyo Kwara's government. Kudos to the governor. This is a nice move. I think others should take a clue right now until this whole fuel subsidy thing we're used to it or is a little bit flexible. I just think that this is the best move for any organization,
right
any
now.
person to do.
Yes.
Let people work from home if they can work from home. Let them work from home or reduce the working days
For
to
them.
3 or 2 a week so that it will not be too difficult. These are family men and family women we talk about. And then we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
Coming from the Nation newspaper this morning. The big headline here says, Labour suspend strike plan. Now here, the first rider here says, talks between governments, TUC, NLC on palliative implementation for June 19th. You can find that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Obi didn't win in Nasarawa. Article witness tells courts. Okay. LP tenders results from 8 more states. You can find that story on page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Fracas as Ogun Tribunal begins sitting. Proceeding not affected. You can find that story on page 5 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Don't hoard intelligence. Tinubu directs security agencies. You can find that story on page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And here another headline says, Jimoh Ibrahim raised President's development plan. Let me take that again. Jimoh Ibrahim raised President's development plan high. You can find that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And here another headline says, health workers call off strike conditionally. You can find that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And here another headline says, Uzodinma, APC governor supporting Abbas, Kalu. You can find that story on page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And here another headline says, Gambari hands over to Bajamila on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Another headline here says, Okiru, Tinubu will end security crisis. You can find that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And here another headline says, talk between government, TUC, NSC on palliative implementation for June 19. I think that's okay. There's another headline here that says, court dismisses Kayamo's suit seeking articles arrest for alleged corruption. You can find that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Okay, I think that's all the story making revolution
Quite a
newspaper
lot.
today. A lot,
Quite
a
a
lot.
lot. I've seen this story here that says you have a lot of stories here coming from uh you have a lot of story here coming from the Nation newspaper this
A
morning.
lot, a lot.
Yes, quite a lot. And we saw that it's upwards also to the subsidy, the 10th NAS leadership. These are some of the issues that are really bordering on us as a people. And we have this story here that say health workers calls off
Strike
strike
conditionally.
conditionally. Whatever way they have called it off, it's
Yeah,
okay
it's
because they
okay.
are. We don't need two problems where people don't have money, they can't buy food, and then they can't access medical
Again.
health
So what's the plan for the
institutions. I
country?
don't think that would be a good one. So they should is a good one that they did call it off. And we know also, I saw a story here that says Gambari hands over to Bajabi and Mila. Yes, that's one of the headlines here. And also, we are happy that like yesterday, I was just on my way from my way. I got home trying to unpack my car, unpack my bags. I saw a neighbor of mine. She was being rushed to the hospital. I don't know what happened to her, but it was quite serious. What I saw, they had to carry her. So you can imagine if she's not able to access medical care at that point,
Can
what would be
imagine.
her fate? So I'm
We don't
happy.
actually need them. There's this
Yes,
story here that sustainable will end security crisis.
we do hope
Says okay,
so.
we hope
We
so.
do hope so. And we move on quickly to the other newspaper we have coming from this day newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have. Restrained by cuts, NLC TUC reached tentative agreement with federal government over subsidy. And the rider says to resume negotiations with government on June 19. Establish joint committee to review proposal for wage increase. Establish framework. And another framework timeline for implementation. Another rider says to review World Bank cash transfer scheme, propose inclusion of low income earners in program. Another rider says TUC demands 200,000 minimum wage, list 19 point demands. Now all the stories are on page 10 of this day newspaper. So I will have a story here that says Tinubu orders security agencies to share information, intelligence on counter-terrorism. And the rider says it stresses needs to completely eliminate insecurity in Nigeria, identifies scarcity as top, identifies security as top priority of his government. And we'll have another story here as well that says President will develop Nigeria, says Jamal Ibrahim on page 27 of this day newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says articles witnesses insist result not transmitted to IRIVE at polling units. And these are all the stories. Obi tender more documents to prove petition. These are all the stories we have. And the last story here says Abdul Razak's critical engagement with labor unions. And you could see the picture also telling that story there. These are all the stories we have coming from this day newspaper. I love the fact this morning that the president is saying, uh, stress the need to completely eliminate insecurity in Nigeria, identify security as top priority of his government. This is the things we want to hear because I really do feel for people in the states when we talk about Kaduna, Benue, Niger, and the others. So I think this should be the number one on his priority list. We move on quickly to the last newspaper we have.
Coming from the Punch Sports Extra this morning. And here the big headline saying NPFL Super 6 drama anguish relief on day 2. Okay, here another writer here says Adebayo predict baptism of fire for EPL teams. You can find that story on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. Boniface laments league title miss. You can find that story on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. Another headline here says, Cremonese rejects Rangers Disas bid. You can find that story on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. Akpom wants Borough stay. You can find that story on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. Siasido agrees personal terms with Arsenal. You can find that story on page 4 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. Spurs wants 100 million euro for Kane. You can find that story on page 5 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. And here another headline here says Liverpool reach McAllister agreement. Liverpool, let me take that again. Liverpool reach McAllister agreement. You can find that story on page 5 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. And here another headline says Rashford set for long-term Devils contract. You can find that story on page 4 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. United won't win title with Kane Rice. You can find that story on page 4 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. Messi's father confirms son wants Barca return. You can find that story on page 3 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. Fred hits at Old Trafford exit. You can find that story on page 5 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. I think that's all the story making wave on Punch Sport Extra today.
Yes, you can get a copy to get more details of these stories. That would be a good place to wrap up the reviews this morning. Now we're going to go on a break, and when we return, we'll be coming back with a guest to discuss some of these very topical issues we have coming from the national dailies. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this time.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Prince, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wileke, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jetplay, and many more. Dates, 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue, Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Nigeria Film.
Okay, my people, it cannot be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to event@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and TapTap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride
feeling the boy. Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting. Positive flow, I'm so attracting. Whether freestyles or even writing.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. Like I did promise before that break, I was going to go and come back with a guest. Indeed, I have with me here my guest, Dr. Emmanuel Ekwemalo Chiadika. He's an election management consultant. Thank you this morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm okay. I'm doing good.
Yes. So we've been seeing a lot of trendy headlines, a lot of issues, a lot of topical issues.
As regards the subsidy.
Regarding the subsidy. But first of all, what's your opinion on this move by the court to stop the organized labor from the nationwide strike that was supposed to hold tomorrow?
It's just a clear instance of You bring a cane, beat a child, and you go the mouth not to cry. That's what they just did. You understand? They were smart enough. They had negotiation with the labor unions, the TUC, and else, and somebody sneak behind, and they sneak behind to go and get a restraining order from for them going for on strike. You understand? Which is their fundamental human right to go and show their displeasure of what is going on, like other countries do. But Nigeria is just, I don't know the way we operate here. It's just, I don't know. I don't just know.
Now, sir, yesterday I did have I did have the head of information of the Nigerian Labour Congress in one of my shows, and he did confirm that as a mouthpiece of the workers and of Nigerians, the vulnerable Nigerians, it is their duty to stand up for Nigerians. But now with this move by the government now to stop, or the courts to stop this strike, knowing fully well that this is the only way the organized labor can pour out their grievances. Now, what does this make or tell of the Tinubu government?
Well, while they were still in meeting, the court order came, and while they were still in the meeting, they resolved for now their issues that they will suspend the strike, pending the resolutions they had. There were 7-point resolutions, and they're going through those 7-point resolutions. The issue of reducing the pump price wasn't even there. So I don't just understand the essence of the meetings and that they will set up a committee to review. What are you reviewing? I don't understand. We've had previous presidents in this country, democratically. Obasanjo came in 8 years. He didn't remove anything. He kept up paying that subsidy. He ran the government very well, suitable, nice. Fuel pump price was very low. He left office, came here and go. Yaradua was there for 2 years. He paid the subsidy. Government was running fine. Economy was fine. Fuel pump price was low. Rather than enter, stayed there for 6 years. Paid the subsidy. Fuel was 65 naira. He left office. But from 2015, Buhari entered for 8 years, spread the subsidy. Water price, okay, left. And to say day off, but just that same hour. That's what I don't understand.
And indeed, the head of information for the Nigerian Labour Congress did mention yesterday as well that once subsidy has to do with the poor people, it becomes an issue. And that even when we talk about the subsidy right now, it's still, even the minimum wage, we can't say the minimum wage is the solution, because not every citizen is even benefiting from the minimum wage. Now, there is a move by the TUC as well to increase the minimum wage. This is one of their demands, to 200,000. Do you think this is even feasible right now in this country?
It is not feasible. These people at the ends of affairs don't care about the poor people. They don't care. They don't care. The president might have a good agenda, but those working with him are people that are so terrible. They don't care. They feel everybody will not be rich. They feel when they go to the village, they come and welcome them and wash their cars and say, oh, welcome, welcome. I don't understand the minimum wage will not be the solution. Even if someone is 1,800 and 200,000, to fool your tank now is 50,000. 50,000 has gone, it's minimum 50. You understand? You will run chain in the house. How much is the chain? You will pay school fees. How much is it? You will feed. Everything has skyrocketed 3 times 3. So you see that even 500,000 a month for somebody will be shaky. Especially those who have family, who have responsibilities. They don't care, they don't want to know. Because their own is when they line up their comfort, it is government money, they will just sign approve. Accountant, release fund, cashier, pay. It does not concern them. Then the minimum wage, some governors will fight, say, no, I know clean. Allocation is poor. They will claim one barrel, they will be talking unnecessary English because it concerns the poor.
Yes,
that they will marry themselves. The rich will marry the rich. people remains the poor. It's only God.
So what do you think at this point? At this point, we see that the federal government, the LFC, the TUC is still at a loggerhead as we speak, even though the strike has been suspended for now. We saw that before that injunction, there was a move by the aviation, by banks also too. They were already warming up as well. But with this move right now, what do you think is the hope of the common Nigeria?
If I'm NLC or TUC, they can go to this another country again and get that, set that still aside. After all, politicians don't have to set aside junction. This one go to set aside. This one go to Kano. So then can go and set aside. Shut down the country for just 24 hours. Bank, school, aviation, everywhere free station. For what to check them? Wallahi, the president, they won't move. Then they will go back to the drawing table. And so, okay, this is what we can do. This is not what we can do. There's a subsidy. You see the rich people that benefited from this subsidy, this them. But don't you want that the former Minister for Finance and the WTO president, her mother was kidnapped because of subsidy. When they kidnapped her mother, they called on the phone. Will you stop everything about the subsidy? She said yes. They released her mother. And she paid heavily for it. So it is bigger than what we are seeing. That is the truth.
So at this point, yes. So you think that is the only way forward? We'll go back to the old fuel pump price.
The subsidy for the poor people, yes. Let them keep on. They've been doing it. Obasanjo did it 8 years. Gaskia, General came in. Gaskia, Jonathan, Buhari did it 8 years. Paid for us.
And but doctor, are you also aware of the fact that Nigeria has topped the list of
most indebted country globally?
Talking about, and the government is telling you this is on the heat of the payment of subsidy.
Your lies, fat, big, wonderful lies. Why they go to the accounts of all these politicians? You see 3 billion, 4 billion. Go inside, go to that place where they bury their money, the ground. You will see billions of dollars. If all these politicians release that money to their accounts, I swear to God, you will see more less than 5 trillion. So that day I went to meet the man here, I went to meet a politician for something. He told me he's going to on the ground, open the door, on the ground. Put that money, I believe that money has been there for 50 years. Fan. This is on the ground, chilling money. My God. My God, my Lord. When the drama said deposit Naira notes, we are confiscating no Naira. If you see money these people brought out, politicians, they were begging, how can they move this money? All those things are lies to see what subsidy. The money they have stolen, the money in their account, the asset they have. If we relinquish it now, my dear, every citizen will be a millionaire. But few individuals just kept it for that generation to come.
Wow. Well, sir, at this point, we wait on the decision of the union, the organized labor, and of course the federal government. They are still meeting, and they will continue to meet to determine the outcome of this. But we really do hope that whatever happens will be for the betterment of Nigerians. Well, thank you so very much for being on the show this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Emmanuel Ekwe-Malo. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir. Do have yourself a lovely day. Yes, we have been on call with Dr. Emmanuel Ekwe-Malo Chiadika. He's an election management consultant here in the Federal Capital Territory. Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, he's saying the truth now. He's being sincere here. Our politicians are just being selfish.
I don't know what to say.
They're just being selfish.
At this point, we really do hope that whatever outcome that will come from that meeting will be in the favor
of the masses,
of the common man.
Yeah,
I have no one, because as it stands, like the head of operation information did said yesterday from Labour Congress, that they are trying to shut the ordinary man not to talk. They are trying to gag even the union, and that is what
Yes.
we've seen today
You can
now
imagine.
from this order from the courts. Anyway, we see it's a developing story, like I
Yeah,
always say. We
it is.
see more of it. Just before we go, viewers, don't forget our Nigerian Week London that is fast approaching. You need to get your ticket. That event is going to. I saw some of. I really don't want to say much, but I saw some things concerning the event yesterday, and they're beautiful. You just need to be
Part
that.
of the
You
show.
just need to be there on that event.
Honestly.
So go to evabrite.com and get your ticket, your stand, book your stand to be part of that event. We already have ministries, agencies, parastatals, and of course individuals, fashion icon, movie producers, musicians, actors. You're already on board. So do well to be part of that event. We're going to showcase us as a people, our food, our heritage, our colors, everything that has
Our
to do
culture.
with Nigeria, the culture, and everything that has to do with Nigeria. And just before we go as well, don't forget to hit on the notification bell.
Follow our page. Tell people about SRTV. It's a chain. Let them know
Yes.
about us. We have a lot of interesting and educative tips to give to you.
Yes, and leave us with your comment. Of course, we love to hear from you. While you're out there, it's a rainy morning. Please drive carefully, obey the traffic laws, and also don't forget that
Peace.
no matter what you do out there, the situation, I think Nigerians will always say with their pidgin, the pressure is getting worse.
But if you just be
Don't
careful
let
out
it get
there.
to you.
Yeah.
Please be careful while you are out there. It's going to be better. I know a lot of people are angry this morning. I've seen
they
a
are
lot of
frustrated.
messages.
Yeah.
I've not been able to reply to any. People are angry that why would the court do this to us? That means that
They don't
the
care.
common can't say anything.
Yeah, they don't
It's
care.
painful.
Actually, they don't.
I understand how that is, but whatever it is, let's just hope that the meeting, they are still meeting.
Will be in
Let's just
favor
hope
of
that
us, so.
something will come out that will still benefit the common man. Otherwise, I don't think nobody will be able to cope like this. I'm not sure. I can't cope. I can't buy no more for assistance. I can't buy more Mary. Once
Okay,
this
it's
one,
too much
I
now.
exhaust this one. That's all.
How?
I think we're going to go to the choir, the choir government pattern.
No, we'll
If
travel
I work
far.
from home, yes, we will move there and work from there because
Honestly,
it's difficult.
it's not
I
going
don't
to be
think.
easy.
Imagine people coming from far Kubwa
As in there.
or Gwagwalada. How do you want people to survive? On a serious note, it is not even funny. And then also, before we go, don't forget we'll bring your way today again some more interesting programs for today. So always stay connected. And remember,
That peace is priceless.
so let's give peace a chance. And won't forget to greet the people behind the camera. You're doing wonderfully well. And of course, even the crew in London, we appreciate all you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I remain yours truly, Princess KESSY.
And I'm MARYVAL. Easy.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Praise, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wiliki, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jet Play, and many more. Dates, 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue, Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.